Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett, and we want to give you a look at some breaking news that we are following. As always, we want to keep you updated on everything throughout the evening. Maybe you have those push alert notifications that are sent directly to your phone. If not, now is a good time to go ahead and download our free Atlanta News First app. You can get push alert notifications to breaking news like this. What we know right now is that multiple officers have been shot in Atlanta's Capitol View neighborhood. We are going to have live team coverage for you this evening on Atlanta News First. We have our crews gathering more information now from the scene that this allegedly took place, as well as the hospital where those officers are now being treated. You can join us next at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on Atlanta News First. And we also have First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin joining us with our forecast in just a few minutes. But I did want to give you some of these breaking details. What we know at this point is that a man has died after a shooting that also injured 3 Atlanta police officers. They were shot, and that other man was killed in Atlanta. This is all according to police, happening at 1430 DeSoto Avenue Southwest. So according to police, here's what happened. Officers responded to the address. It was around 5:15 p.m. and encountered a man, they say, with a handgun as well as with a knife. Police say the man died during a struggle that followed, and in that process, 3 officers were also shot and injured. Those officers receiving treatment at Grady Memorial Hospital. That is where Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, as well as Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum, they were there answering questions, and I want to play for you now what all they said, and here is the latest information that we have received straight from officials.
As you can see, we're all here outside of Grady Hospital because officers have responded to a call for service where 3 of our officers were shot by a perpetrator in our city. And once again, you see that guns are causing harm in our communities. And unfortunately, APD officers were hit. They are alive and stable. They are alert, conscious, and breathing. And I have spoken to each of the family members, as has Chief. We've talked to the officers. They are in good spirits. As you see, a lot of Atlanta Police Department officers are here supporting their brothers that have been shot. We were all on the way to a fundraiser for the Atlanta Police Department with the Western Cowboy theme, as you can tell by some of the attire. But we were here supporting our officers, and we came here to check on them, to check on the families. Thanks to Grady for their hard work, their dedication. The trauma center is second to none. They are supporting these officers, and their families are here as well. GSP, Fulton County, and others came to help as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief to be able to give you the particulars about this incident, about the officers, and then we can answer questions after that. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you being here so we can inform Atlanta on the condition of their officers, the protectors of our city. The investigation is in its earliest stages, and so we have a limited amount of information. We will provide that to you as the investigation progresses, but here's what we do know. At 5:15 this evening, we were dispatched to a man armed with a weapon that the caller felt was a threat to the community. Officers responded to that location and did encounter an individual that's armed with a handgun and a knife. During that encounter, there was a struggle, there was gunfire that resulted in 3 of our officers being injured. It also resulted in the death of the individual that was armed with a handgun. I'm going to give you an update on the condition of our officers at this moment. We have a 31-year-old officer. He's a 4-year veteran of the department that has been shot, a 31-year-old officer that's also a 4-year veteran of the department, and a 28-year-old officer that is a 5-month veteran of the department. 1 officer has a wound to his shoulder, 1 to the leg, and 1 has a grazed wound. As the mayor stated, we have spoken with all 3 of them and their families. Right now, 1 officer is entering surgery. Another officer is being prepped for surgery, and we do not believe that the 3rd officer will require any medical attention that would require anything beyond what's being received in the emergency room. I want to thank God for protecting our officers tonight. I want to thank the phenomenal women of Grady Hospital, the men and women that are working right now in the emergency room, as they do for everyone in this city, to assist them. The Georgia State Patrol, Sheriff Labatt, who assisted in getting our officers quickly to this location. We will get you more information as we develop it and make you aware. But I just want to assure all the officers of this department, your coworkers are going to be fine. I appreciate what you do for the city, and I want to reassure the citizens of this city, we're still protecting you, We will continue to place ourselves in areas where firearms are that may be causing a danger to the city. And open for any questions. It's going to be very limited, ladies and gentlemen, of what I can answer at this time.
Has the perpetrator been charged with anything yet?
The perpetrator is deceased, ma'am.
Did this happen at his home?
We were initially called to a commercial area on Fairbank Street, and the officers located the individual still with a handgun on DeSoto Avenue. And so I'm not sure where this individual may have resided, but that's where the officers encountered him, was DeSoto Avenue. As is customary, we have called the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. They are the independent investigator of any officer-involved shooting, and they will lead this investigation as well.
Chief, have some family members arrived?
Yes, sir. We've had, in fact, the father was just arriving as the mayor and I were approaching the cameras. We have a wife and a girlfriend that is here, and we actually have some family flying in from Florida.
We noticed that there's a police car with crime tape on it down at the end of the lane there. Does that have anything to do with the situation?
At the point that there was a shooting, sir, given the condition of our officers, we immediately transported ourselves. Our officers started applying medical care. We placed them in patrol vehicles, and thanks to the Georgia State Patrol, this department, and the Sheriff's Department, the route was shut down, and we arrived here at Grady. The phenomenal doctors and nurses inside went to work, and that's why we're able to give you the report we are today.
Were the injured?
Have you identified the shooter or
No,
the name?
no, sir, we do not at this time.
Are you releasing the name of the deceased suspect?
Not at this time.
Were the injured officers the only ones that responded initially to the initial?
There were other officers on the scene as well.
Is there any connection to the wreck that was right near the scene?
We do know that as officers were responding to the help call, we did have a car accident. Fortunately, no officer was injured in that, no citizen, but we do have a damaged patrol.
Do you guys believe anybody else is involved in this?
We believe everyone that was involved has been accounted for, ma'am.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right,
We'll
thank
have
you, Mayor. I'm
updates
going to
on
thank you,
the
Mayor.
website.
Also,
Thank you.
We'll be able to update you as more information becomes available. But continue to pray for the Atlanta Police Department. The men and women here are doing a fantastic job. Your city is safe because of these individuals, and pray for them because they're here, consoling their brothers that's been shot. So APD is still out here serving the public. Thank you.
thank you.
We were just hearing from Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens and Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum. We appreciate you joining us here at the First Alert Desk. This was the information that was just given out moments ago. We wanted to share that with you. I see several of you are joining. Will, Jane, thank you for joining. Wesley, Crimson Tide, Lee, Derek, we appreciate you watching here at the First Alert Desk. We have live team coverage for you that's going to be taking place on Atlanta News First this evening. You can join us at 10 and 11. You can also stream us live on atlantanewsfirst.com. But just to reiterate, if you are just now joining, I do want to give a brief recap of what we know so far. 3 Atlanta police officers have been shot, and 1 man was killed in Atlanta. It happened at 1430 DeSoto Avenue Southwest. This is in Atlanta's Capitol View neighborhood, so in southwest Atlanta. Police say that officers responded around 5:15 p.m., encountered a man who they say was armed with a handgun and with a knife. Police say that there was a struggle that followed, and in that struggle, the man was killed, and 3 officers were shot and injured. They are currently receiving treatment at Grady Memorial Hospital. We are told they are breathing on their own. 2 of those officers will require surgery. The 3rd received a graze wound. This is very much a developing story. We ask that you continue to check back with Atlanta News First for any updates. As I mentioned, we have 2 reporters out covering this story with team coverage. So I know that was a lot of information to send to you, but I do urge you to download the Atlanta News First app, head to our website. You can continue to get updates throughout the evening, even when we are not in a newscast. So shifting gears a little bit here, I appreciate you all joining us to receive those updates. I want to give you a live look outside right now because, I know that I just had to give you some heavy news there, but it is the weekend and a lot of us have Mother's Day plans, and we want to tell you how you can prepare. There's a lot of different weekend events going on as well. We have First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here to do that.
Yeah, First Alert Meteorologist Fred Campagna earlier today coming in second overall at a 5K. Sean Gables was out there. Many of the Atlanta News First team, they were out there this morning. Again, one of a couple 5Ks. First Alert meteorologist Fred Campagna running that one. But Patrick Pete was emceeing, hosting another there at Piedmont Park. The other one was in Decatur. So kind of all about town. We were out earlier today, and boy, was it gorgeous. We had the excitement of last night, the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, so many enjoying those sights and scenes across North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, really much of the United States, even friends, family in Houston and New Orleans, South Florida, posting their photos. Sanibel Island, Florida in particular, I have a friend that did share what they were seeing, and again, a pretty obvious Aurora Borealis last night, strongest solar storm. Level 5 in like 21 years, 2003. So we were blessed with that last night. Gorgeous weather today, and there is the opportunity for the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, to be seen relatively far south into the United States once again tonight. So we're going to be watching this as it plays out here over the next few hours. I think we'll get a much better idea as to whether you see it. If you're watching here in North Georgia, streaming in Metro Atlanta, as we get into that maybe 8, 9 o'clock window, best time to see, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. or so, and we will know relatively early just how far south we will be able to see the spectacle. But keep in mind, it's not a guarantee, it's just a possibility, and these things are especially hard to forecast, even harder than our local weather to forecast. Let's go ahead and shift gears, talk a little bit of weather here again. We are tracking cooler air compared to just a couple days ago. You probably felt that today. Low humidity, pleasant conditions. Much cooler in Texas where there are rain and storms. And you can see this evening, right now at this time, 8 p.m., 8:12 to be exact, 3 degrees cooler than 8:12 yesterday evening. So the cooler trend continues, though I think a gradual warm-up will be on the way as we get into tomorrow afternoon. And then especially as we slide into the new work week, though rain is in the picture, that kind of complicates that temperature forecast. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Again, I want to thank you all for streaming. We're on many platforms right now, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, the First Alert weather app, Atlanta News First app, and YouTube is a good place to go if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns. And we will be watching the stream here. Good afternoon to you, Brickva, Wesley, Millsap. Hello to you. Have a great evening. If you aren't getting out and about already, hopefully you are able to do so. As we get deeper into the evening, again, you can also let us know what you're thinking on Facebook. Reach out to me, Facebook, Instagram, X, any media platform, and I'll be watching even after this stream ends to give you the latest, let you know what's going on if you need any clarification on the forecast. But YouTube, while we're streaming, the place to be. If you're not streaming on YouTube, if you are watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, don't want to forget about you all. All you have to do is open up that YouTube app, like and follow Atlanta News First. I'll be watching the feed and just ask your question on YouTube, even if you are watching on Roku, Amazon Fire, and any of those other streaming platforms. Forecast-wise, of course, whether or not we see the Northern Lights still in question this evening, but what I can say is viewing conditions to see the Aurora Borealis, decent. Decent to great. In fact, I think at worst it'll be decent. We do have a few clouds in the forecast. I think a few more by 10, 11 p.m. So yes, a little bit of an increase in the cloud cover, but I think in general, decent, and I use that at the very worst, decent conditions, most of us seeing good to great viewing conditions as we get into the overnight hours here, deeper into the evening. Again, we're going to be watching for that potential. You may very well see the Northern Lights again tonight, and thankfully cloud's not a huge issue locally. We're seeing relatively clear conditions now and mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, absolutely gorgeous weather on the way. Checking out your coffee forecast, your coffee cast, we'll call it. No need for the large cup. It's not going to be a doozy of a morning. In fact, quite the opposite. It is going to be very, very nice. Temperatures in the 50s. Sunshine out the door in the morning. We're really kicking off a stunning Mother's Day 2024. So if you're looking for something to do for mom, maybe grab her that cup of coffee. Take her on a walk, stop at your favorite coffee shop, take her out to coffee, or just make coffee at home and have it on the porch tomorrow. It'll be gorgeous to do any of that out the door in the morning. Just a few high wispy clouds. If anything, the clouds just adding, I should say, a little flare to that sunrise across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Taking you outside of the metro, though, outside of I-285, a little bit cooler, maybe low to mid 50s. 53, 54 versus 57, 58. Even inside the perimeter, I-285, just a little bit cooler than it has been. We had a few mornings last week in the upper 60s to near 70 to start the day. So compared to that, starkly cooler. Pretty stark difference between those two mornings there. This morning, about 56, 55, officially at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So we are going technically a degree or two warmer. We have already reached the coolest point of this cool wave. And the warming trend technically begins tomorrow, but it begins gradually, so still a cool start. Mid-40s, Blairsville, 50 in Dalton, 54 Gainesville, 51 in Carrollton. Center of a day on the way, and it begins on a nice note. Oh, thank you, Brickva. Thank you for commenting. Brickva, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, I do think you're streaming from Metro Atlanta. I know you were asking Karli Barnett about the earlier news story. That was earlier. We were talking about a shooting that took place, unfortunately, in Atlanta, and we did have multiple APD Atlanta police officers hurt, and that was in the Capitol View neighborhood. I know you're asking where that took place, and that is in the Capitol View neighborhood. If you don't know where Capitol View is, it is going to be just south of downtown Atlanta, kind of south of and southwest of Mechanicsville, so to the west of 8575, the connector, and south of Interstate 20, just south and west of Mechanicsville, just to give you a little bit more clarification on where that neighborhood is, Brickva. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you do have any other questions, comments, concerns, we're still here. We're answering those questions. YouTube, the place to be to kind of converse and chat back and forth about the weather, but a reminder as well, if you are streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, you don't have to leave those platforms. You can just open up the app, open up YouTube. It's a live thread, just a little bit of a delay between when you ask the question and when you come back in. And when I see the question posed, so there may be a little bit of a delay. You can always reach out to me on social media, Cutter Martin, CutterMartin, on X, on Instagram, also Threads, Facebook, any of those. Whether questions, comments, concerns here, we are here to give you the answers. Hour by hour forecast. Let's pick it up where we left off. So out the door tomorrow morning, grabbing coffee for mom. Temperatures in the 50s. I think by 10 a.m. mid-morning, quickly into the 60s. And from there, we are going to continue to warm on up. Here we are, noon to 1 p.m., maybe brunch or lunch after church or any early morning activities. Widely in the 70s, though Clayton up in Rabun County in the upper 60s. Helen probably also still in the 60s. But notice Ellijay and Blue Ridge, both 70 or warmer, and that's by 1 p.m. So a little warmer than today, even up in our mountain communities. 4 to 5 p.m., we're pushing 80 in the city of Atlanta, going about 79, 80 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow. Some down in middle Georgia in the lower 80s. I think most upper 70s to right around 80 in the city of Atlanta. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, of course, warmest this time of year, roughly between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. And it's not just Atlanta that's going to be a couple of degrees warmer. And as you see, those white wispy clouds moving in tomorrow afternoon, just a little bit more cloud cover on the way. But again, Atlanta 80, still nice. Gainesville, Lake Lanier, it's a beautiful day to be on the lake. Wind's not bad tomorrow, lots of sunshine. Yes, some high clouds, but still do make sure you are applying and reapplying the sunscreen. UV indices can be tricky this time of year. Temperatures may be cooler. That UV index still going to be high to very high. So sunscreen important. 81 in Athens, Rome 79, Newton 79. Again, initially, a few morning clouds, and then kind of midday, lots of sun. And then as we get into mid to late afternoon, more clouds in the first alert forecast. Taking you beyond Mother's Day, kind of Mondays are a transition day or day of change, and a day that does include a rain chance. It's not an all-out washout, but scattered showers possible. Forecast models kind of varying on exactly when rain chances start to jump. I do think it's possible there could even be a few showers Monday morning, but rain is more likely. Still kind of scattered coverage, relatively hit or miss, as we get into the mid and late afternoon hours. So do keep that in mind. Scattered rain is back in the forecast Monday. And we do also have a first alert weather day Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, the risk of heavy rain is greater. Could align with the morning commute, so it could be a slow drive into work Tuesday. And there is a greater chance of thunderstorms, thunder and lightning Tuesday. So I still think Tuesday is the more disruptive day, Monday versus Tuesday. Focus is on Tuesday. Your attention should be more so on Tuesday, but if it does trend wetter Monday, may have to add that first alert weather day designation just because it'll be a day that's more likely to have weather that'll disrupt your day, impact your plans. But for the time being, Tuesday, really looking like the highlight day, the day to pay closer attention to, especially if your plans are outdoors or if you have kids, students that have outdoor plans Tuesday afternoon. We could see more storms redevelop through the day. Wednesday, a bit of a break, drier day, upper 70s to near 80. We are in the 80s, back into the warm territory Thursday. Humidity not too bad. Low to mid 80s as we get into our Thursday afternoon. Friday, also a first alert weather day, tracking more showers and thunderstorms on the way in the first alert forecast. It is looking like the risk of thunder still there Friday, but more rain than anything else. Do keep in mind that Friday's rain looking fairly widespread at this point and could impact the morning as well as a portion of the afternoon. And it's a Friday when so many are trying to get outside, wrap up the work week, get ready and head into the weekend. So plans could be impacted. Weather a little bit more disruptive, hence the first alert weather day. So we know it's a busy. Any day is busy, but especially this time of year, it's busy. We just want to highlight the days in that 7-day forecast that have weather that could disrupt those plans that you may have. Right now, it's Tuesday and it's Friday, but we will pass along updates right here, streaming on Atlanta News First Plus, also in the First Alert Weather app. If you don't have it, it's really easy to get, free to get, and easy to set up. All you have to do is search First Alert Weather or Atlanta News First in your app or Google Play Store. So again, haven't had any new questions coming in. Wesley, Beatrice, absolutely. Hopefully you're having a wonderful Saturday for all the moms streaming out there. Hopefully you have a wonderful Mother's Day. Brickva, thank you for watching and contributing. Hopefully I did answer that neighborhood question. Again, Capital View, the neighborhood just south and west of Mechanicsville, southwest general and Atlanta areas where that shooting took place. Forecast-wise, no issues. Do go out tonight and at least spend a few moments looking up at the sky. It is possible we could see the northern lights again tonight, the aurora borealis. Rare territory, how far south it was last night, and that solar storm still is ongoing. Could see the lights again much further south than normal. So we'll be watching for that potential. More of that information is at atlantanewsfirst.com. Also, I posted it to my Twitter and on my Instagram stories, the latest thinking from First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi earlier this morning as to where and how you can see the northern lights potentially again tonight. Again, thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Reminder, I'll join Karli Barnett here in just a little bit, 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, for our 10 o'clock hour newscast, and then back on WANF, Atlanta News First for the late news starting at 11. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Get outside, enjoy the weather, and with any luck, you will see the lights again tonight.